Okay, so I have got my frog pieces all crocheted, so I just need to put them together on the template or the background. So this is my background. I do need to weave in some edges or some ends. I've got the eyes. Just tuck those in. Figure out where I want the eyes. Now you might weave all these in. I don't. I weave in basically what I have to. But yeah. And this is the little crown. They'll go right there. And then for the smile, I just opted to do the chain. And then the little smiles. This needs to be cinched a little bit tighter. There, I think that will make a very good frog. So we just have to weave in all the ends and then we can put it together. Okay. Okay, so I have all the ends weaved in for here. I think to cover up this line here, I think I will put the crown there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to weave in this tail because I'm going to use this tail to sew it down. So I'm going to weave this in really quickly. Okay, so now I've got the little crown. For the eye, I'm going to use the long green tail to sew it down. For the ends in here, what I like to do is I like to tie them together to kind of make a knot, and then I just clip them. I actually do not sew all these ends in because let's be honest, that's a lot of ends to weave in. So I don't tie it too tight, but I do go ahead and tie a knot, and then I just clip the ends. Not super short, but just to make sure they stay in place. And I do the same for the black. There. So you know that's going to stay together, that's not going to come apart, okay? And then you just hide them. I do not. That's the tail for the other. Actually, I might put that a little bit shorter. There. Okay. So I'm going to decide where I want the eye to be. Okay, so I finished my frog prints. So I weaved in all the ends, put his eyes on first, just so I made sure I got them in the right place. Then I put on the crown. I decided just to do a solid black smile and then the pink for the cheeks. I think he turned out super cute. So this block is completely done. All the ends are weaved in, and I think it looks really good. Ooh. Okay, this is my pumpkin carriage block. So I have the wheels. This is the little door and window, and then I have the crown. So I'm going to sew these into place. I already weaved in the ends, This looks amazing. I really love the look of this. It is turning out really nice. Yay! Okay, I finished that. I got the wheels on. I got the little window and door, the little crown. I did do an extra slip stitch, or not slip stitch, surface crochet around the edge of the carriage just to give it a little bit more depth. So I finished that. Weaved in all my ends, so that is ready. I like how it turned out. Okay, so this is my panel for the Enchanted Forest. So I need to, as you can see, it's blank right now, but I have the dirt as the main ground level. I have like the green for the forest, and then this is sky. So I need to fill this in because it's empty. It's a pretty long strip. I need to fill it in with some trees, maybe some birds, maybe a horse, something. So anyway, I'm going to start on that. I'm going to start working on a tree to kind of fill in this area, and then I'll show you what I come up with. Okay, so for my Enchanted Forest, I've got strings everywhere. I'm going to put some sunflowers here. I've done a little bit of color, different colors. So I didn't want them all to look exactly alike. I wanted them to each be different. Let's see, then over here I've got pumpkins. So I did two with a kind of a dark orange, and then I did a brown stem, and then these I did with a lighter orange and a green stem. Again, just to give it some depth. Because I just did a solid background, I wanted to add some more color and some more variation to make it look more realistic. And then for my trees, for the forest, I did one large tree, and I did two kind of medium-sized trees, and I did them all in different colors. So I did this kind of an ombre, so a light green, and then changes to kind of a darker green. I did a kind of medium brown stem. This one I did a very, very dark green with some white kind of specks in it. This a very light brown. And then this one I did kind of just like Christmas green, and then a very dark brown. So I wanted to make them all different to give it some more variation and more depth. So trees, pumpkins, I have to sew all these down. And then I was going to do mushrooms, but I decided no, I want to do something I haven't done before, and I saw these sunflowers and I just wanted to try them, and they indeed turned out beautiful. So I did the first one in the dark brown center and just a kind of a gold for the petals. For the stem I just did this dark green. Oops. Then for the second one I used a kind of a dark cranberry, and then I used kind of a yellowish with some white specks. Turned out really nice. I also did a lighter green for the stem on this one. Oops. And then for the last one I wanted to change it up, and I looked up online. There are actually white sunflowers, if you didn't know. So they probably have a black center, but I chose a lighter brown. And then I did this variegated yarn with some sparkles in it. Actually, I don't know if the sparkles are going to show up, but I used this. I love this yarn. It's got some specks to it, speckles. It is called Sacramento. So that's what I used for that. So it gave me a really beautiful white sunflower. And then for the stem I used this very, very dark green, kind of faded green actually, with some specks in it. So there they are. So now I just have to sew it all down. It's going to take me a while, but I think it turned out really nice. This is the unicorn block. This was the very first one. So the last thing I have to do is I think it's going to be this way, is the Excalibur, or the sword and the stone. So I already finished the background and then I put the border on, so I just have to make the pieces and then stitch it on. So I will be sharing that once I get that done. And then I think all the pieces for the blanket so far for this crochet along by JaydaInStitches, I think I'll have all the pieces up till now. And I am saving all of my yarn ends in my little jar. It's almost full actually. Yeah, it's almost full. But anyway, so I will share more of that when I get more done. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless. I will see you in the next video. you.